Absolutely. If he's got free time and he's making the decision to hop on an airplane and go that far, and he's already aware of what Nebraska is, and he's already built that relationship, and it's just I think it speaks volumes. It's not going to be an easy road from here to December, but it makes a huge statement. And you make a great point about the difference between a place like Nebraska and the unique quality of Nebraska sports and the hold that it has on that state that is, I'm trying to scan the country. It's basically like no other. Iowa has a hold on that state, but the Nebraska brand, history, tradition, all of that, obviously, for all the respect I have for Iowa football, blows Iowa away. Uh, and those would be, wow, Utah, but they've got an NBA team. You know, man, I'm coming up with Alabama, and they've got to share the state with Auburn. So you can, if you're going to just single it out down to one program that owns the state, there's no NFL teams, no professional sports teams. It's Nebraska and Iowa, right? I think
Well,
that's it.
well, I mean, to my point that I was kind of making with, going to USC and being a star for a little bit. Maybe, you win 10, 11 games a year, and maybe you win a Heisman. But you're a star only. You're a very tiny star. You're a small fish in a big pond. You come to Nebraska, and you're going to make more money in NIL because you go out to LA and you got to pay what, $8 a gallon of gas and stuff, and where's all that NIL money going out from your wallet there? And you come to Nebraska and you are a star for life here, by everybody, 24/7 for the rest of your existence, and that's the bottom line. So that's huge, and you don't think he doesn't know that, like most of us do, that if you're the number one ranked recruit in the nation, other top recruits want to come and play with you. So when you do pull the trigger on your school, it's a big time, recruiting class changer across the board. So, and the window for quarterbacks is very small, for their recruitment decisions. And he's at that point where, okay, we're here in March almost, and all the top quarterbacks are going to have their decisions made here, May, June, late July. They get these in place, and so their recruitment's done, so they can carry on with their senior season. So, like I mentioned earlier, just speaks volumes for having him show up here in Lincoln on his own dime, when right in the middle of the dead period too. So, hey, it's just crazy, and like I said, it stirred up a lot across the country, even so much that there was this spoof on Twitter that he had put out, and had a big announcement, and all it was a list that turned out to be just a list of all the I think it was just all the Power Five schools that it offered him, or it might have been all the D1 schools. I don't know, but yeah, that had a lot of people on their edge of their seats, especially Nebraska fans.
And just to extend on your earlier point, Greg, again, even if USC's big time, and they're always big time, but I mean, if they're good, like they were this last season, and Lincoln Riley's obviously an accomplished coach, and we expect, I do at least, USC to be a big factor in the Big Ten, and they'll actually be playing bigger games going forward.
Oh yeah,
There's a difference playing your biggest games of the season being Oregon, UCLA, and Utah versus your biggest games of the season being Ohio State, Michigan, Nebraska, Penn State, Wisconsin. Like those games are just going to be crazy. But
Yeah, and I wasn't even factoring that part in either. I was still thinking about the old Pac-12 schedule. So,
But to your point, still,
yeah,
what are sports fans like? They're just like everybody else in regards to it's just on to the next thing, the next thing. And as soon as the game's over, it's the next thing, the next thing. Okay, that game was great. That was awesome. We're on to the next thing. And in that town, Lakers, Dodgers, Angels,
yeah,
Rams,
yeah,
it's gonna be great. You won a big game against Ohio State on Saturday afternoon, and we forgot about it 10 minutes later because we're ready for the Rams game
yep,
tomorrow, and it's gonna get lost.
yep,
Man, Nebraska wins a big football game and it lives on.
exactly. Yep.
It lives on. Yeah, it's just a
There's a
completely different deal.
Yeah, huge difference there, and then Georgia as well is that we've talked in the past that there was a change at offensive coordinator, uh, you know, and if you look at Georgia, what have they done? I mean, obviously they produce a lot of NFL players, but how many have been quarterbacks? I mean, 15 years ago, Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Since then, really
Mm.
not a whole lot. My guy Justin Fields had to leave for greener pastures at one point. So, hey, that I don't know. That just kind of to me in my mind, it just it brings Georgia down a couple of notches. But who knows at this point? And you know, the Raiola family is in a pretty good spot right now. From where I see it right now, that they control all the cards that where the dominoes are all going to fall here in this recruiting class in the next 2 or 3 months.